You know, there are many former players here today that are a part of this immense legacy. And, Coach, we have a couple of them to speak about today. I was trying to think of the way to properly introduce our first speaker. A couple of things came to mind. For those of you who know, that I came up through sports information. I had the privilege of being with Coach Richardson when this guy was a freshman, which I will note was his best three-point field goal percentage year of his career. All right, no, we don't need to talk about the stats. But he's an outstanding individual. But, you know, sometimes Coach, he's had a lot of players over the years. And sometimes he got a little mixed up on names. So while we know him as Blake Eddins, a couple of us know him as Ed Blakens, I think, a couple of times in the press conference. So, ladies and gentlemen, Ed Blakens.
Man, you know you had a great career here when they tell a story about an accidental nickname instead of your actual time on the court. But thanks for that, Kevin. I appreciate it. But, you know, to quote Coach Broyles, it's a great day to be a Razorback. I mean, and we need one of these days today. This is just wonderful to see all these familiar faces and have these former players and coaches, trainers, managers, staff here. It is just truly a great day to be a Razorback, and we're all honored to be here. And on behalf of the Razorback basketball family and Coach, people that played for Coach Richardson, we have guys that played for Coach Sutton and other coaches here too. Thank you all for being here as well. We just want to say thank you. Thank you to Dr. Bobbitt, Chancellor Steinmetz, you know, the board of directors, Chairman Johnny Goodson. Hey, Kelly Eichler, how are you? Mark Waldrop, thank you all so much for making this a reality. This means so much to us, and it gives us continued hope and confidence for the future, not only of this athletic department, but for the university system as a whole. So thank you. We greatly appreciate it. I think that everybody knows that, you know, has been to other campuses and been all over the country, and people know that you do not get your name on a building unless you won a bunch of games and you won a championship or multiple championships or conference championships. And Coach definitely checked every box imaginable in his time here at Arkansas. And you see these other coaches' names on stuff, and that's all you can think of. You know about the wins. And obviously you've heard some today and you'll hear some later. Coach Richardson was much more than basketball. It was much more than wins and championships. His legacy is something that will far outlive any championship and any win, and that's why his name on the court was so important to so many former players. Here in a minute, we're all going to walk over to Bud Walton Arena to see his name on the court, and those memories will start coming back. You're going to see that. You're going to start thinking about Big O grabbing a rebound with that big hand of his and shooting a laser beam 87 feet down the court to Todd Day, who was cherry picking as always for a dunk. He's probably talking at the same time. You're going to think about that time in Austin, Texas, where the refs were doing their usual horrible job in Austin. Coach had enough of it, threw his sport coat over his shoulder, and strolled right out of the building, right past Tom Penders, who, even though he was getting every call, was still whining and complaining as usual. Coach is in the locker room. Lee Mayberry hits a shot from 30 feet out to go to overtime, and I don't think Matt Zimmerman can run as fast as he did back then, but Matt sprinted back to the locker room and told Coach, get your butt out here. Lee Mayberry hit a three. We're going back to overtime. Matt sprints out. Coach throws his jacket over his shoulder, kind of strolls past Coach Penders again, and proceeds to whip Texas and Austin and come back to Arkansas. There's kids here. You'll think about Corliss Williamson, a son of Arkansas, being the best player in the entire country, leading the best team, one of the best teams in the history of college basketball, to that national championship in a way that only Corliss can. And for a guy nicknamed Big Nasty, he's still one of the great people that have ever worn a Razorback uniform. You'll think about Scotty Thurman hitting that rainbow three to win the national championship game. If you're a basketball nerd like me, you'll also remember that Dwight Stewart had an open shot, but he dropped the ball. And then those great passes Dwight made, he flicks it over to Scotty, and he catches it right in that shooter's pocket and shoots that rainbow over Antonio Lang, and the rest is history. I was 13 years old when that happened, and I remember that Sports Illustrated coming to our house and seeing President Clinton spinning the basketball on his finger with an Arkansas jacket on in front of the White House, and just as a kid in Montgomery, Alabama, thinking, damn, they've even got the president. This is unfair. How do they, it was bad enough to see what they did to all the teams that some of us grew up liking, and then to have the President of the United States doing that too was just borderline flagrant. You know, and one of the best images that I have is Coach holding that national championship trophy with Miss Rose right next to him. You know, if you know Coach and you know Miss Rose, she's everything. She's as tough as they come, and she's been a mom to every single one of us. You know, how she managed being married to him for so long, I don't know. But it's a testimony to her toughness and patience. And we would go out to Coach's farm all the time. It was a highlight of playing on the team. And she would cook, and we would all hang out. And, you know, inevitably she'd come over if you looked down or frustrated and put her arm around you and ask if you were okay. And she always called me Blakey, which was kind of weird. But she put her arm around me and goes, "Oh, Blakey, what's wrong? Are you okay? Is Nolan picking on you?" And you knew not to say yes. You just said, "Oh, no, it's fine. It's fine." And one time I accidentally kind of shrugged my shoulders and went, "Oh, I mean, you know, kind of maybe a little bit," and thinking that she was just going to hug me and tell me she loved me. And if you know Rose, that's not what she did. She immediately yelled across the room with every other teammate and staff in the room, "Nolan, are you picking on my Blakey? Leave him alone." And Coach looked at me like he was going to kill me. And for the next 2 weeks, he proceeded to try to. And fortunately, I'm here today to talk about it. And those are some of the great memories we'll have when we walk over there. But when you talk about legacy, I hope that everybody has some of the same memories that the members of our family has, and that you'll also think about that kid that was raised by his granny in El Paso. You'll think about that boy that had to cross the Mexican border to be able to go into a movie theater. You'll think about that young man that would score 30 points for Texas Western for the great Don Haskins. And then he couldn't get off the bus to go eat with his team because of the color of his skin. You know, Coach Broyles, in his infinite wisdom, hired Coach Richardson. And he took a chance hiring him. It's crazy to think, it's the year 2019, but it's crazy to think at that time that he was taking a chance on a guy that had done nothing but win. Junior high level, high school level, junior college national champion. He won the NIT at Tulsa, Paul Pressey, the great Mike Anderson. He probably fouled a lot then, just like he does in pickup now, but he hustled. You know, to think that that was considering taking a chance is crazy. But he hired Coach Richardson, and the rest is history. But with all the challenges that Coach Richardson faced throughout his life, his greatest challenge was happening when he came to Arkansas. His 15-year-old daughter, Yvonne, was struggling with a leukemia diagnosis, and she was in the fight of her life. The whole Richardson family was. And to think about Coach, all he had been through his life, when he got to Arkansas, to be fighting through that with his family the first 2 years, and to be able to overcome and persevere and get through that, and not just get through it for his family, but to take a basketball program and change college basketball forever in the process, and give us some of the greatest times that we will ever have here at the University of Arkansas. And it's just that tremendous, tough fighting spirit that he's got that you just can't replicate. And he's just an amazing guy. You know, getting your name on a court or on an arena or on a field is great. But this is about more than just honoring a man that won games and won a national title. To me and to all his other former players, this is about honoring and preserving and celebrating a legacy of a pioneer and a trailblazer that did so much for so many people. Some of them don't even realize what he's done for them, and changed the game of basketball as we know it. You know, Arkansas is a blue-collar underdog state. If you want to be successful here on the national or even international level, you got to try harder. You got to fight harder. You have to prove yourself a little bit more than people from other places. And you know, in that spirit, Nolan's story, Coach Richardson's story, is the quintessential Arkansas success story. That's who he is. He got it through fight and through determination. And, you know, because of that, I can't think of a more fitting tribute to honor Coach than to etch his name permanently on the stage where he showcased all of those abilities and gave us so many wonderful memories and gave so much fame and so much notoriety to the University of Arkansas. And it'll live forever there. And you'll have those memories and you'll think about the games and the wins, but his legacy will live on forever. And that name on the court will inspire people for years to come. So, Coach, congratulations. We love you. We're proud of it. You still kind of scare the hell out of us sometimes when we see you. We're afraid you're going to take us over to Cleveland Hill. But thank you so much for everything you've done for all of us. You deserve this, and we love you. Congratulations.